Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and good morning. It was a great morning this morning because at 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, we saw new headlines came out and we witnessed one of the greatest, most significant pivots and 12-hour reversals that we've seen in the market this year. Last night when I went to bed, the world was embracing for an energy war. We are bracing and getting ready for a rough start with the opening bell this morning. But this morning, after the new headlines hit, the Dow opened up 800 points. It was up 1,000 last time I looked, and risk is back on the table. But is this real recovery, or are we just living in a 5-day window of safety right now? Today's video, in this quick update, I'm going to break down the 3 acts of the overnight session that flipped the script for every investor right now and what we're looking at right now in the start of this morning's session. So let's jump in and talk about those 3 big narratives. If you haven't done it already, hit like, hit subscribe to the channel. Guys, let's first start off as a reminder overall. Let's go back to midnight. Like when I put that video up late last night, the sentiment was pitch black. As I said, all of the indicators were leading to a rough start this morning. We were staring down at the deadline, the 48-hour ultimatum that was this afternoon, and the response from Tehran was defiant. They threatened to irreversibly destroy regional infrastructure, and that caused the Brent crude to shoot up. I think at one point it got up to about 114, pricing in a total blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. We saw the 10-year Treasury yield start to spike over 4.4, growing closer to 4.5, and Nasdaq futures were down. As an investor, this was a nightmare scenario in the brewing. Higher energy costs plus higher interest rates equal a valuation crush for tech stocks. And at 2 a.m. this morning, there wasn't a bull to be found. There couldn't be a bull to be found overall. And then came the Asian Open. We saw it last night. I showed it to you. The Nikkei 225 was taking heavy pressure. It was going to show us what a fear trade looked like and what we could see this morning when our bell rang as well. It didn't just slump. It was down almost 4%. It shredded close to 2,000 points in a single set. But then the pivot. At 6:30, let's just go to the pivot. We can see at 6:30 a.m. this morning, and this wasn't exactly, but the Trump administration came out and they mentioned that the ultimatum was off the table. They were going to cease any strikes on infrastructure for the next 5 days. And we saw a massive response to that. It was a black swan that turned white. A single social media post from President Trump changed the entire trajectory of the week. He announced, like I said, after productive conversations, the U.S. is postponing all military strikes for 5 days to allow for a diplomatic resolution. And we think about what that did. Just take a look at the volatility index. Remember, we saw it peak towards 27. My prediction last night with everything going on was that was going to go past 27 and get to 28. Right now, we're down to about 24.5. Significant signal that risk is being lowered in the marketplace right now. If we take a look at Brent crude is down to 101.75. It was peaking over 112, reaching levels of 114, which was causing major concerns. So that had a significant impact. If I jump over and just take a look at the dollar and the Treasury yield, you can see the dollar still hovering close to that 100. It was down, it was higher, but look at the Treasury yield on the far right here. Side, you can see down by 0.55%, down in the 4.3 range now. And what is this doing overall for the stocks? So let's take a look across the top here in the stock market overview. You can see the S&P 500 is up almost 2%. The S&P 100 is up, again, 1.84. Dow 30 up over 2%. The Nasdaq as a whole is up over 2%. Look at some of the top stock leaders across the board, all of them, with exception, we see NVIDIA hanging around that 422 level. We put a video about that. Will it hold this 422 level? Something I'm looking for today. Potentially could put a video out tonight or add it into my segment tonight. Did we hold that? We dipped right below it right now in real time, but will it bounce back? But everywhere else across the board, NVIDIA up almost $5. SanDisk up almost $30. Look at Lumentum up almost $49. That's a significant loss over at the end of last week. So guys, risk appears to be back for now. This is great news overall. I think what we saw coming in was there was this short squeeze that every trader that got worried overnight, who went short at midnight, was suddenly trapped. They had to buy back their positions immediately, fearing that we were going to see a significant move higher because of what was happening with oil prices. The crude dropped, you saw, was all, down significantly, 11%, I think it was, growing back down to the 100. And we saw the Dow continue to move. This is great sign for us overall. So where does this leave us? Is risk back? Leave your comment below. I think it's back for today, but it is conditional. I would say we have a 5-day window of diplomacy right now. The 10-year yield, as I said, as I showed you, reaching down to 4.33% is giving tech stocks some much needed oxygen. But the fuse is still attached to the bomb right now. And we have 5 days to hopefully let diplomacy win. Hopefully we can find a resolution to Operation Epic Fury and release the market and let it get back into the bull run that we all want to see it get into. As investors right now, we have to play the numbers. We have to look at it. We have to not just follow the headlines, the noise in the marketplace. As much as those headlines are dictating what is happening in the market, we have to trust our gut. We have to follow the signals and the fundamentals that we see in the marketplace. We have to continue to watch that $100 level on oil. We have to watch the yields on the 10-year Treasury. Do they creep back up over 4.4? Or are we still staying down in the 4.3 level? If diplomacy can hold, and that is a big hope for all of us, I know, this rally has legs. If it fails by Friday, then I think we're going to get back to the basement. We're going to have a weekend where risk is taken off the table, and we have the same situation that we saw last night where there is global concerns across the board. So guys, stay disciplined. Enjoy the moment right now. Look for great opportunities where you can move in on stocks. Enjoy what we're seeing on the board. Let's hope diplomacy wins. Have a great day. I'll see you later this evening. Take care.